Hello, everyone, and welcome again to our series of the dogs that made us.
We thought it would be really interesting just to chat through the dogs that actually really influenced Julia and I
Mm,
within Garland, and actually for me to actually become a Garland therapist.
exactly. And looking all the way back over some of our dogs over the last 20, 30 years, they've all been influential, haven't they? Every one of us, every one of them, as we've been going over them, have realized has added something to my knowledge, depth of understanding, and everything else. And I know you're the same.
Really has. When I look back at the dogs, they taught me so much. And at the time, I may not have understood the lessons they were teaching me, but certainly in hindsight, I can look back and realize the lessons that I was taught along the way by these amazing dogs.
And still being taught. I mean, my current girl is 2. So shall we have a look at some of these gorgeous, gorgeous dogs that
Yeah.
sadly a lot of them aren't with us anymore, but they're still in our hearts very much, aren't they?
Yeah. And I think, Julie, we're going to start with yours. Could you tell us who
Hmm.
this gorgeous dog is here?
Well, I think he's quite well documented. This is Huffo, obviously yellow lab, and that's a picture of me looking a lot younger with my children, who were then obviously a lot younger. And he was just the most amazing dog, but he was the one that had the awful neck injury that we didn't know what it was. And it was actually this very, very sort of clear thinking vet that went, oh, I think he's hurt his neck. That made me think, oh my goodness, this is awful because I was told he had to be put to sleep at 6 months old. So, as I said, his story is quite well documented, but he really was the dog that opened my eyes and brought in nightmares, as you know, about how debilitating soft tissue injuries are for dogs and all of us. I mean, I know myself how, and you know yourself,
Yeah.
um, how they are. So he really opened my eyes, and he was the one that spoke to me and said, something's got to be done. So he's indelibly marked within Garland, without absolute doubt. He is indelibly marked. Well,
Gorgeous, gorgeous boy. Wow,
yeah,
we've got a real selection here.
I know, I know. So Huffo was back in the early 90s, and he lived till he was 17. So he was destined to be put to sleep at 6 months, but lived to 17, which was wonderful. And then came along a series of other dogs, um, a real collection, I think some would say. Yeah, so you might not recognize, but this one here, this is Panda. She's a Newfoundland, as is Snuff. This one here, Snuff, I had many, many years ago. Um, and she I'd never had such a big dog in all my life. And she was not keen on walking, but she would swim everywhere. Whereas Panda, who I had after her, she didn't like to swim, hated water, but loved to walk. I know. But
A
Panda,
Newfoundland that hates water.
I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? It really is. But this one here also taught me that even the large breeds can live to 15, and she lived happily and healthily and physically fit until she was gone 15.
Wow, that's incredible age.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, it makes me sad that that's not the age we can guarantee, but we just can't, can we? But
No.
the thing though that Snuff and Panda also taught me, apart from having a large dog around, which is just the best, is this interspecies sort of mixing and I can't find the picture of Snuff with the duck that I had at that stage. Francis Drake, obviously Francis, and they just had this amazing relationship, almost too tight in the end because the duck actually died Francis died of a broken heart when Snuff died, and we know that to be true. But this wonderful interspecies thing, which I've seen a lot more of, but it's all these things just open your eyes, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
And then we've got, I'll come to here, Monty. Now, he taught me how complex some rehomes can be. I rehomed him, as you can see, he's a collie at 6. And I never saw myself as a collie. I always said they're too intelligent for me.
I've always said the same.
And I think they are. And he just was wonderful. You met Monty, didn't you, Cushla?
I did, when I was training.
Yeah, he was interesting, wasn't he? He was his own man, but he was very damaged. He had a very physically abusive first home, didn't he?
And really bad diet and everything. Was kept in a cupboard, I think you said.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. So we had to get over the trust. But then I realized that dogs like us have certain, I hate the word, but it's true, triggers. And sometimes I didn't know what it was that was the trigger, but he became really scared and protective and everything. But he taught me so much, and he's in the tongue to tail, and he's the very proud dog that has got bad movement. So I learned from him how to begin to understand a lack of drive through the back end and the front, overcompensation, and all of these things, and what it meant to him as a sort of a dog. So he was stunning. I'm George.
Come on, you've got to talk about George.
Oh, if anyone met George, see, again, never thought of myself as a terrier person, but that was my son that said, no, we are having this puppy, and that's that. I went, okay. And yeah, George, the confounder of every situation.
George was, I think it's fair to say, was unique.
Absolutely unique. But wasn't he a good tutor? Wasn't he a good tutor?
Even when you arrived outside the door, he always welcomed you with so much.
So much.
I'm going to leave it with so much.
Oh, God, yes, so much. And if you did anything wrong when you were treating him, he gave you so much feedback, didn't he?
Yes, he really was the epiphany with positive pact for me as a student.
He was brilliant, but oh my goodness, if ever there was an exasperating dog, it were he. But he taught me so much, but also he really taught me to listen. Yeah. He really taught me to listen. And he feels, I know this almost for a fact, that even when he died, when he was 17, so yeah, he wasn't going to leave me in peace for long. I'm going to stay with you, which was wonderful. Absolutely. Poor guy. He got terrible dementia. But even at the end, when he didn't feel that I had listened fully to him, he sort of looked at me, and it was as if to say, 17 years I've been around and you still haven't learned everything about me, have you? Which was a great lesson, because everything George said, he said with conviction, didn't he?
A complete conviction.
And it really was a great lesson, but also the fact that up until his dementia really got him, he was running around and really fit and healthy, wasn't he? He really was.
Really, really was. I love it when we used him for, not used him, that sounds awful, but you put a camera on him so that we could actually see it from the dog's eye view.
Yeah.
And that was an eye-opening moment for me. It was fascinating. Yeah. Because the little legs that he had, because he was a Shih Tzu cross, wasn't it?
Yeah, Shih Tzu cross. No, actually, he was a Lhasa Apso.
That's it.
Lhasa cross terrier, and his father's name was Rampant from Penley, because that was the village he came from, and this little man used to burst through all these cat flaps and impregnate the local pigeons. And he was a product of that. But yeah, it was as if that video was it was so telling. I mean, we still show it now, don't we? But
Yeah.
it's like he wanted to turn around and say, told you what it's like down here. It's really difficult. So
So
yeah,
good.
taught me so much. Yeah, I was going to say something else, and I actually can't remember what it is. But yeah, he was a fascinating dog, and sometimes these dogs that can be challenging are the ones that really do teach you if you are willing to learn. But
Yeah.
yeah, there were times when perhaps I would have liked to have learned a little less. But there we go. Now here is my beautiful Labrador Molly, one of my beautiful Labradors. She she was an extraordinary dog. I got her later in life when she was 7 and had 6 glorious years with her. She was just the sweetest dog. Um, the sweetest dog to people, but I think she was quite a force with other dogs, a wonderful force. But she was the one that when we started um, War Dogs Remembered, the charity, and we went, and this is actually a photograph at the Menin Gate in Ypres. She came and represented the charity and wore that coat with pride. And she wasn't great in crowds. And this is what always astounds me with all of these dogs. They've all done astounding things, like Monty presenting himself in a video when that was not something that he would do. And George was in it too.
Mm.
But Molly, there were these crowds and the band and everything. And she just walked with me the whole time. And it was like she knew she was representing dogs of the past. And it was really emotional to see that pride that she presented. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, such a special girl.
Yeah. In fact, when Molly couldn't do it anymore, I took Maggie for the first and only time. It's then because COVID hit, but took Maggie, and Maggie took on a whole different view of what her role was. She was amazing at walking and beautifully presenting herself within the crowd. But when we went to be presented to Princess Anne and to hand over the wreath within the gate itself, after we did that, she thought that's it, I'm done. And in the middle of all the organization and the people, she thought she'd do a big roll in the middle of the road. I've done it. Amazing. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. We knew that we would get a bit
Carried
involved.
away, yeah.
Yeah, a bit carried away. Oh, what's happened to Maggie? Okay, that picture's sort of gone a bit strange on the screen. Anyway, here she is. A lot of people will remember Maggie, and we now are hitting the bit of the where the heart hasn't healed and probably never will, as it won't for so many of these wonderful dogs. But she just the best tutor in the world, and I know you're going to go along with that, Cushla, because you and she work together
all the time. And she taught me. She was a tutor alongside me, and yeah, she was the best.
was she part of your learning as well? She was too young for that, wasn't she?
Oh, she was, yes, she
You've
was.
been
It
around
was,
for years.
yeah. No, yeah, but no, she did. We taught alongside. It's just, do you know what? Maggie and Garland were just hand in hand for so many years
Yeah,
that it's almost so hard to remember a time when she wasn't there.
I absolutely agree, because she died not last August but the August before, and it was all very sudden and horrible and ghastly, and premature.
Mm.
I don't think 12, nearly 13's old at all. Um, and yeah, but what she fitted into those years was amazing. But yeah, she taught me so much. I mean, she sort of was like the whole package, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She taught me what good posture looked like, because she looked great. She taught me how it's so important to treat all these injuries, because I mean, obviously I knew that, but she had a couple of injuries, but how the treatment really had a major impact on her, how she would only allow students to treat her if they asked her permission.
Yeah.
And again, she really helped push Positive Pact on further and further, didn't she?
She really did. And all the training videos that you and her did together, she was
Yeah,
just phenomenal.
she really, really was. And yes, because I've never been into sort of training per se, but I remember once when someone said to me, "Oh, could you just ask Maggie just to walk over those poles without you?" And I thought, well, I'll try. And I just said, "Wait, Maggie," and now walk on, Maggie. And she did it perfectly. It was if she said, "I won't let you down on this one. I might let you down at other times when it's funny, but not this time." Yeah,
She
she's
had such a sense of humor, though.
she really, really did. She really did. So yeah, she's had a massive influence. And now we get to Tilly, my sweet, sweet little girl, who is the kindest dog ever. But equally, what she's taught me is how noise can really affect a dog. And I mean, with Monty, I had behavioral stuff from his past. Maggie, not really. Molly, not really. Any of my other dogs, not really. But because this little one was a COVID puppy, I think that we just couldn't get that exposure to what it's like living here with the car noises. But she has taught me that we can get over this, we can work with it. And of course, scenting is her game, isn't it? It really is. And that has proved to be the most wonderful distraction for her, but a distraction in the way that it's allowing her to understand what's going on, but just go on with the what she's doing. But she's becoming a really good tutor, isn't she, Cushla?
She is, and it's beautiful to watch this dog just gradually emerge and get more confident at
Yeah.
each time we run practicals. But just being her authentic self allows students to see what it is like to treat a dog that
Yep.
is a little bit unsure, a little bit anxious, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit noise sensitive, and that's invaluable.
It really is because we want them to all learn from real situations, and
Yes.
but obviously we also want our dogs to be in a safe situation too. So it works really well because we never force any of them, and we
No.
work with them. But she, as you say, she does give her authentic self. So that's the dogs that have, I mean, really in a nutshell. Obviously we could talk for a lot more about all these wonderful dogs, but I think just this collective learning, it just becomes part of you, doesn't it? And lovely to be able to take that on and use that experience. So this next picture is just one very rare picture where some of our joint dogs are together, aren't they, at a training?
They really are. And as you say, it's all of that layering of learning that we have
Mm,
as Gala, my therapist, and definitely me as a tutor. But this is actually one of those really special moments
yeah.
is there is so is it Molly in there?
This is
No.
Molly here, and there's Maggie. I know, don't they? That almost looks like a bit like Tilly, apart from the ears.
It really is. So
Yeah,
Molly, Maggie, and then we've got the grey one nearest us with the big freckly nose is Raki.
yeah.
Which we'll meet him in a little while. We've got Aladdin, and then we've got a puppy Chaos, which is at the back there,
Fabulous.
looking innocent,
Looking innocent and really small.
really small.
Didn't last for long. Didn't last for long. And of
No,
course, we've got Chris Carley's two dogs there, the lovely Golden and the Terrier. And you can see a little pug around the corner there too. As you can see, we have an eclectic bunch of dogs that come to our practicals, and they're all just, yeah, they're amazing, amazing.
yeah, and they're all pretty chilled then because they'd all just had a massive treat search, if I remember as well.
That's true. All together, all together.
Yes,
Yeah,
which is just
fantastic.
amazing.
Kushla,
So
these are your beauties. Now we're going back in time with these, aren't we? I haven't seen these pictures before.
no, I was trying to work out actually how long ago. It's well over 30 years. And the picture on the left of the two dogs, the one on the right-hand side, so the white dog with the little black markings, that's Sashka. And she was my personally my our first ever dog. we started with almost like with fire by getting a husky, which is like
Why?
going out and buying.
Where was your passion from getting huskies?
Well, I really wanted to get a dog that I could run with
Right.
because we were living in Germany at the time and my husband was away a lot of the time. And I wanted a dog that I could take out running just to feel not safe, but just have that companionship, really, of
Yeah.
someone that would go out with me. And that was my learning curve with Sashka, is because she, unfortunately, at a very young age, was diagnosed with OCD. So she had to have an operation on her shoulder
Oh.
and developed arthritis, osteoarthritis.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, it's something that was with her, was the veterinary hospital said was basically genetic, which was unfortunate.
Awful.
So that was my first ever dog, and literally my journey into how it can go wrong with
Well,
illness.
yeah. Yeah. I
It
thought the reason you went into huskies because you wanted balls of fluff around your house. That was your
it
dream.
no one mentioned, do you know, I did kind of look up that bit, but you kind of scan over it slightly.
Totally.
And,
It's not
you know,
relevant.
husky,
Not relevant at all.
absolutely.
Mm-mm.
That the husky glitter, as it's referred to,
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't quite appreciate how much. And then that was closely followed because I had one husky, you have to kind of have a second. You don't. But literally, she was followed by Donny, who his full name is Donyak, who's the grey and white one. He came from a rescue centre in Germany. He'd been rescued from Spain. And we got him when he was, I know, um, we got him when he was about 18 months, 2 years old. And we then realised that he was actually suffered with epilepsy. So
Another lesson.
another lesson in epilepsy. So we had two dogs that taught us an awful lot.
Mm.
And Sashka, with her arthritis, osteoarthritis, I mean, going back 30 years, we were really
Yeah.
lucky to find a vet that actually did acupuncture.
Wow.
And there was, I know, and there was very few alternatives or anything that was available.
No, there really
But
wasn't. Mm.
it really, yeah, and we were so lucky to find someone that did acupuncture on her, and that was my first sort of foray into that kind of, you know, alternative, if you like, because she'd limp in but bounce out.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because your journey sort of started, I think, around the same time. We've never actually put a
No,
timeline on it, but I think, Huffo was sort of mid-90s. It's looking like she's about the same. So we
yeah,
both were entering our journey about the same time as each other.
it would have been about then, absolutely.
Yeah,
So, you know, and just having those two dogs that taught me so much about, you know, our illness and how, you know, although epilepsy is seizures and it affects, you know, the brain and everything, but how physically it can affect the dogs as well.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
I
so
mean,
those guys.
Bonnie, the best name in the world, I have
Oh,
to say.
Don. Yeah, well, Donyak, as one of my German friends pointed out, sounded like some sort of domestic bleach sort of product that was in the German supermarkets. So we shortened it quite quickly to Donny.
Don is a brilliant name, brilliant name. So
And
we
he
still
was
go
good.
on with now. This guy I miss massively.
Yeah. Now this is Coda, whose full name was actually Takoda, which
Coda,
was
yeah.
Takoda, which is friend to everyone, is what his name actually meant.
Mm.
And he was, oh gosh, he again was so special. He was my first ever pedigree dog,
Ooh.
which I know. So he actually came with a very posh name, which was Chrysalis Satan's Angel, I think it was. I wanted Dakota on his kennel club, and they went, "Oh yes," and then it came back as Satan's Angel. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's not quite what I was looking for.
It's not
Yeah,
quite a friend to everybody.
yeah,
But he was the reason you and I met,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
had started to do Canicross, which is the running with the dogs in the harness. And we were going to do this crazy long distance events where we were going to swap dogs in and out. I knew how to train me. I'd done a qualification in personal training. and I knew how to train me, but I looked at the dogs and I went, I don't know what I'm doing. I can train them, but I don't think I know enough about how to look after their musculoskeletal health. And that's when I actually came across you and Garlemire therapy, and we visited with the dogs. And from Dakota, the rest is history.
Yeah.
He really did bring everything. And he was, you have a kind of, I love all my dogs, and I've always, but he had a special place in my heart. We would go out running. Sometimes he'd be on lead, sometimes he wouldn't. He was very well behaved. And we would get to a junction and I'd be thinking, oh, I think we might go left, but I haven't quite decided. He'd already taken the turn that I was thinking of.
Yeah, we go that way. Yeah,
yeah, he'd already read my mind about which way we
got
were going to
Mayhem
go.
on your lap now.
I have got a Mayhem on my lap at the moment.
He was. I'll never forget him because he was a bit older when you were here at Bolney doing the practicals, and but we actually named him the patron saint of students, didn't we?
We did.
Put a picture on the wall to commemorate that, because he was wonderful with the students, but also he used to make me laugh so much. He used to almost get him out of your motorhome and wind him up. It looked like he was a wind-up toy. And then he just walked, didn't he? He didn't change speed. He just kept walking.
It was just so sweet. And, I'm so happy we had him for just over 15 years.
Wow.
And he was
fantastic.
It was amazing.
Never long enough. Never
long enough. He is in his prime.
Oh, look at him.
Absolute prime.
That ear was very distinctive, wasn't it, in the late years?
In the late years.
What a handsome man.
So handsome. Yeah, we had some amazing adventures.
Oh.
Yeah, I also had this husky here is called Timber.
Yeah.
It's that, I still can't properly talk about him.
No.
We lost him. We lost him at the age of 5 on a walk. He just dropped dead on a walk. Yeah. And just one of those things I'll never get over.
You can't reconcile something like that, can you?
No. The beautiful brown boy next to him, and the other little picture is Aladdin. So he was our first foray away from huskies, because we were doing a little bit more racing with the dogs in harness. And Aladdin came to us. He was given to us by somebody who was going through difficulties and was leaving the sport, and was basically said, the rest of my dogs I can return to the breeders, but this guy, he won't cope in kennels. So would you take him on? And Aladdin taught me so much, mainly how to wear ear defenders.
I was going to say, I mean, I remember he taught me how loud barking can be.
It was a special skill set, I believe he honed. It wasn't even barking. It was more akin to screaming, if I'm honest. But he was amazing, and we've only just lost him. This year. So special boy. Raki, who is still a very active tutor.
Very good tutor. Very good tutor.
So Raki came to me again when he was 2. He came to us then, and still amazing. Just how amazing tutor. Axel on the right here is you'll meet his brother. Axel came to us when he was about 18 months to 2 years old, and was a bit of an example of how things can go wrong with dogs. You can see how his left leg is out to one side. So he has had both cruciate ligaments repaired. And I know he also, from x-rays, has a bulging disc as well. So we have his full litter brother, who you'll meet in a minute. And
it's just different puppy development, didn't he?
Very different puppy.
Very different. Yeah. And that was, I mean, to have litter brothers and to watch them go down the same path and a different path has been interesting. Not so much for Axel, but it has been interesting.
It has been interesting, and it's also emotionally, it's taught me how a lot of my clients feel when you've got a dog with injuries like he's had, and the guilt of what I could have done, what I should have seen. But and all of that, and it you know, at the end of the day, sometimes these things just happen, and when you compare him to Chaos, you realize actually how much you do need to build your puppy into a healthy adult dog in a
Yeah,
very specific way.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful boys. This I will never forget this. I mean, you had different hairstyle then, Cushla, but
I did.
it wasn't that many years ago. But yeah,
So
hilarious.
this is Chaos, who literally, this is his first ever day at Garland Biotherapy. And he literally strutted in, managed somehow to get himself onto that chair, and decided to have a quick look to see what I was drinking. And that's basically how he's been ever since. One of his favorite positions, as you can see, is on a table. And I remember the first time I had him down as a tutor, if any of the students left the room for any reason, where they were nipping out to the loo, he'd basically sit on their chair and they have to negotiate getting back on their chair, because he was basically going, well, thank you very much. This is quite comfy.
Well, it's quite interesting because I keep horses, and so do you. But yours a sort of canine, apparently species, but he's huge. Now, there is someone here that we all know. Here's Hannah Capon here, that is being loved by, I think, Maggie, and that's Eddie, and of course Chaos, who's got the real advantage by actually getting on the chair. But that was him, wasn't it? That is him. I haven't
That
seen him
is
for
him.
a while, but that is him. And yeah, all vying for attention, which we love that picture.
Yeah. And again, he's a fabulous tutor. All the students can
Amazing.
do. Literally, he just will. All the students are able to do all the techniques on him, and it's just amazing.
There's someone that's not enjoying you talking about chaos. When's my turn? Here, there we go. Now it's his turn.
It seems to be a bit of a theme. Now, this is mayhem. So we had a chaos, so we felt we ought to have a mayhem.
Definitely.
I'm not entirely sure why. As you can see, he's again always sitting on tables and chairs, and he's currently on my lap, as you can see. So that's mayhem. He was again end of COVID, so we learned a lot from just getting him used to different noises and everything like that as well. He's not quite as confident as Chaos in his own skin. And the newest member of our family is Blunder, who is on the right. Blunder is he's 2, and he has just started doing a couple of races this season, and he's just hilarious. And I will look forward to bringing him down to start his tutor journey, because I'm sure he's gonna, he's the sweetest man. So
compared to your other two.
Absolute pocket rocket. He's a lot smaller. So Chaos and Mayhem, and Axel are all about 33 kilos. He's only about 26, 27. Absolute pocket rocket. And just the sweetest little boy ever. Really, really sweet.
Gosh, we've been so lucky, haven't we, to share our lives with so many amazing dogs that have taught us so much, so much.
So much. And sometimes it's things you don't want always to learn,
but they're sometimes the best lessons, but not great for the dog involved, of course.
No, not at all. But I always remember you saying to me in certain points when things are happening, you'll learn from this, and you're so right, unfortunately. But you're right, you do learn from it, and you take that knowledge forward. And it teaches you so much, but also empathy and how other people might feel about their own dogs.
Absolutely. I think empathy is such a missing part, and it's difficult you can't train empathy, but you can learn to feel it. And if you can bring all your experiences together, whether you're treating or whether you're teaching, whatever, it's so great, isn't it? It really is. I've loved doing this, Cushla, because I mean, Garland's been going for nearly 25 years now, and it just shows the threads of knowledge that have gone through to develop Garland, because Garland, it has a foundation from learning from dogs, then we actually then fit the science in or the anatomy in, but we observe the dogs and we learn from the dogs. And these are just some of the ones that we've learned from our own.
They really are. And, you know, if we talk to most of our therapists and most of our students, there will be a dog that's brought them on the journey.
Exactly. And this is why we're really excited about this series. We're going to grab anyone who will talk to us and ask them about the dog that made them or influence them on their journey, even if it isn't a canine related journey, help them, support them, or whatever with that journey. It's going to be a fabulous series. So we will look forward to talking to different people. We've already talked to Sindor about it, so please look that one up on YouTube, and there will be more to follow, won't there? Look, we'll have a chat with Mayhem in a minute.
Yeah, if he does talk, I think we might all be in trouble.
We might be here a while. Anyway, look, Cushla, thank you for sharing all your wonderful dogs with me.
Oh,
those
thank
I
you.
know or have known, and those that I have never met but heard about.
Oh, it's been lovely to hear about all of your stories too. So, and hopefully we'll see everybody again very soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lovely to see everyone. Bye.
Bye.